Hi, just want to take a quick look at one of the Microsoft vulnerabilities that we've been seeing a lot when we've been doing security assessments for people. Happens to be one of the Microsoft vulnerabilities that targets the RDP, and the reason I've picked it up for this short video is not only to kind of demonstrate what can be done with that particular vulnerability from a hacker's point of view, but also show how you can remediate that without necessarily putting a patch in place. First of all, kind of shows the importance of understanding what vulnerabilities can do, and if there's a workaround or remediation before we put the patch in place, then great, we can look at that. So first of all, what I've done is I've done a quick Nessa scan of one of the Windows 7 machines that we've got, and this is the particular vulnerability that I'm talking about, the MS12.020, so vulnerability with a remote desktop. So what we'll do, we will use Kali Linux as normal, and we will search for that particular vulnerability within the Metasploit framework. While that's doing that quick search, what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at our Windows 7 machine itself. If we take a quick look at the IP address, 192.168.1.27, so that will be our target IP address. Now the way in this particular vulnerability works, if we have a look at our remote settings from here, is it actually takes advantage of this element here, the less secure remote desktop connection. Now for all Windows 7 machines, we need to actually set whether we want to be able to have a remote desktop connection to it. Either don't allow the connections, less secure, or the more secure option. This particular vulnerability looks at this less secure option. So what I'll do, just close that down, and I'll just keep that in a small window to the just side of the screen, so you can kind of get an idea of what happens when we actually exploit that particular vulnerability. So the one we're looking at actually using here is this one here across the top. So we'll just take a quick copy of that, and we will use that particular exploit. Okay, as with all these particular exploits, if we have a look at show options, we can have a see what's there. In this instance it's fairly easy. We set a remote host and a standard remote port, 3389 is a standard RDP port anyway, so we will set remote host to be 192.168.1.27, as you can see here on the right hand side. That's our target machine, and then we will hit exploit in there, and as you can see straight away we've got the dreaded blue screen of death in that particular instance, and that machine will now go on and it will clearly need a reboot. Any work that was been doing on that machine has been lost, and as you can see there, it's completed the attack there within the Metasploit framework. So just using that vulnerability, a quick Nessa scan, find that vulnerability, fire at the Metasploit framework, and I've immediately brought that machine down, and any work that was on there clearly hasn't been saved. And of course we could potentially write a script to put that on a loop, so the moment that machine comes back up we could attack it again and again bring it down. Not just Windows 7 machines, but this is also a vulnerability that's been seen on Windows servers as well, and as you can imagine have a bit more of a dramatic effect across the network. So just kind of if we just have a look and see a machine that hasn't got, while it's got that vulnerability, has got those settings for the RDP set to be more secure. Here we've got another Windows 7 machine. If we just take a quick look at the IP address on here, we've got 1.26 in this particular case. If we go here and have a look at the remote settings, you'll see we've got the remote access there, but we've got this more secure option down here. Okay, so if we go back to our Kali Linux machine, and if we set the host to be 1.26 instead of 1.27, and look at exploiting that, we go back to the Poseidon machine, and here we go, we can see the machine's still on. While it still has that vulnerability, it's not actually taken that payload and not actually given it the blue screen of death in that particular instance. Okay, you can see the two differences between here on this particular exploit at the top, where the machine has been rebooted, we can see it checks the RDP status and it says it seems down because it's rebooted that machine. We've got the blue screen of death on there. With this particular one here, we've done the whole exploit, it still says it's up. So from attacker's point of view, we can easily see using that particular exploit whether it's actually going to blue screen that particular machine or not. Very quick example, really, as I said, just to show that even if it's something that we can't patch straight away, as long as we understand what that vulnerability is and the ways in which we can remediate and work around it, then we'll be a lot safer across our network.